Hey guys, Andy here. So today we are taking a look at a mid-range phone, the Huawei Nova 5T. So the Huawei Nova 5T is, I think it's $399 retail, and it basically looks to be an Honor 20. There's only tiny differences between the Honor 20 and the Nova 5T. I'm not really sure what that's about, but either way, I've not played with the Honor 20 either, so let's take a look at the 5T. Start off by heading into the box. There it is. First thoughts, it does feel quite thin. I noticed looking at the specs, it's only 7.8 millimeters thin and 174 grams. And on a device that's got a 6.2 inch screen, that's quite good. The other thing you'll notice straight away, well, there's actually 3 lenses. Well, there's 4 lenses on the back there. Depth sensor and 3, but we'll come to that shortly. But yeah, feels very good. I do quite like Huawei hardware. I had the Mate 20 Pro for quite a long time. It was my main device for 6 or 7 months. I really like the hardware. The software, not so much. And the software was kind of what got on my nerves in the end. We've got here just the quick start guide, the warranty card. I half expected it to be a casing. That's a huge big box for just a pin eject tool and the warranty and quick start guide. Charging brick, which charges at 22.5 watts. So they say in 24 minutes you can get 50% charge into the device, which is not bad going. It is USB Type-C, if you can see in there. And then we also have some headphones, USB Type-C headphones, look. And also a converter for Type-C to 3.5mm, because it does not have a 3.5mm headphone jack. Now, I believe that is a power button and fingerprint sensor on the side. Let's take off the protective films, I suppose, while we're here. So yeah, I believe that's a fingerprint sensor on the side. There's not one on the back. It's not in screen, and it does say side mounted, so I assume it is that there. And it looks like, I guess, that's a volume rocker. On the other side, we have the SIM tray. Speaker, USB Type-C port. So the hardware, I think it does look very nice. They do hardware, Huawei do good hardware. Let's see if we can go ahead and start it booting up while I talk about other aspects of it. So this obviously is in black, but it also comes in crushed blue and midsummer purple. Sounds interesting. The actual hardware, the chipset is a high silicon Kirin 980 chipset, which is 7nm. I think that's what's in the P3. I think it's basically their top end, Huawei's top end chipset. It's got an octa-core CPU, 2x2.6, 2x1.92, 4x1.8, and that is respectively Cortex A76, Cortex A76 and Cortex A55. The Mali G76 MP10 GPU, couldn't tell you a lot about that. And then this one has 6 gigs of RAM, but also comes with 8 gigs of RAM. It's got 128 gig of storage. There's no SD card slot, there's no headphone jack, but there is NFC and there is dual SIM if that's important to you. So let's go ahead. I mean, it all seems very snappy. I think the specs are quite high. That's pretty top end device specs, I think, for a £399 device is not bad going. I don't really want to import anything at this point. So what I will do, let me get logged in, set up, and then we'll carry on looking around the phone. So I got Geekbench installed, and the fingerprint setup. It is side mounted thumb fingerprint sensor. Sorry, in fact I'll show you that now. I guess I'll turn it off. Seems pretty quick to me. As you can see, I ran Geekbench 4, so Geekbench 5 is out and I will install that later. For me, 4 has more meaning right now, and 9,783, that's a pretty good score. It's not, I don't think it's quite up there. I should have double checked what the others are, but I think the others are up into 5 figures, so it's not quite with the big boys, but for a £400 device, that's a pretty high score. Then we also get a glimpse of the screen, so you'll have noticed the hole punch camera. You might also notice when you're looking around the front-facing camera, that's where you can see there's a screen protector on as well already. So a little bit weird, you don't get a case, but you get a screen protector. I'm not generally a massive fan of the pre-installed screen protectors. They're normally not very good quality. It doesn't feel too bad. I'll see how we go. I might take it off because a lot of the time I prefer the feeling of just the glass rather than a kind of the plasticky screen protector. But I think the screen does look very nice at this point. I can't remember if I told you the specs. It's 2340 by 1080, so that's a 19.5 by 9 ratio, and it's about 412 pixels per inch, which is pretty high. It's an IPS LCD screen. So LCDs these days are actually very good. They're not quite as good as far as so we're not going to get an always-on display with a clock on it, which I really miss when I don't have it. But at the same time, the colours and the brightness these days really very good off from LCD. Let's have a quick look in at the software, because it says it's running Android 9 upgradable. There we go. So EMUI 9.1, Android version 9. Do we get the latest? I mean, I don't know. I've not run a software update yet. So 1st of August, that's pretty good right off the bat. I don't know that I want to check really, because if it is available, I don't want to do it right now. But I guess it's good to know if there is an update. There is. It looks like it's just a security update though. September security patch, which is fine. I mean, it might be after that you maybe get the next one. We'll see. I won't do it now though. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, because obviously there'll be a lot more videos about this device. I also wanted to see what we've got gesture-wise. Shortcuts and gestures, system navigation is probably, here we go, look. Gestures, try out gestures, navigation dock. So, okay, yeah, so we're on the regular 3 buttons, but I'd like to go to gestures. We're going to get a tutorial, so swipe in from the edge to go back. Nice. Swipe in from the right to go back. Yep. As you would expect. So it's all kind of how you would expect it to behave. And it does seem, so far, it does seem a very nice device. The build quality feels very good. Feels good in the hand. The screen looks nice and sharp. Let's just try. To one MP2 GPU. It's got 3 gig of RAM, which is okay. Well, compared to the original Moto G, I suppose, it's probably quite good. So I think it looks and sounds okay. It looks better than it sounds, perhaps. The speaker doesn't sound great. So a lot of people, that doesn't matter to me. I use podcasts, and a lot of time phone calls, I'll just have it on the speaker. It doesn't sound great, but again, I'll be doing that in tests, so you'll hear more about that in the review. I think the only other thing to sort of a quick word about, I think also the battery I'll mention before we move on to, so it's a 3,750 mAh LiPo battery. I've mentioned the quick charging. That'll be interesting. 3,750, that's pretty good, but then it's quite a big bright screen. We'll see how that copes. Again, that'll be in the review. And so the final thing, which I think is supposed to be a big selling point for the device, are the cameras. So the main lens, 48 megapixel, sounds impressive. F1.8 isn't the best. You can get F1.6, lower the better. You're generally going to get better low light quality with the lower the number. It means that the aperture opens up wider. Then there's a 16 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide, which I do like an ultra wide lens, and 16 megapixels is pretty good for ultra wide. We don't often get that wide on the ultra. Then there's a 2 megapixel f2.4 27mm, so it's just regular wide angle, same as the main lens, dedicated macro camera. Could be interesting. we'll try taking a couple of pics in a second. And then there's a 2 megapixel depth sensor, which I assume is the actual little one at the side. And then front facing, 32 megapixel f2.0 26mm. Interesting. The back lens will do 4K at 30 frames per second. The front lens will do 1080p at 30 frames per second. They both have gyro electronic image stabilization. So all the specs on the cameras, they sound pretty good. Switch camera mode slide. Okay, I'm fine with that. Yep, I'm fine with location tab. So seem pretty quick. What I didn't see, oh there we go, it's on the bottom. So we can zoom in, we can zoom, so that's the wide angle. How do we get to macro, I wonder? Is it an option? Super macro, that's what I'd like to try. Optimal shooting distance 4 centimeters, so we've got to get right in his face. I don't know, I've got the lighting on him quite right. Bit of movement from him, but so I mean, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see really. They look nice and strong colour. It is a very smooth OS actually, or movement through the OS. So obviously there'll be lots to learn when it comes to the lenses and the cameras, which I will cover. Yeah, there's not much else to know at this point. Seems a very nice device for £399. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I will read them all. If you've got any questions for the review, put them down there. I'll try and remember to answer them in the actual review. As I said, if you haven't, make sure you subscribe, because there will be sort of video samples and maybe some head-to-heads. We'll see. Maybe I'll put up against the K20 Pro, the Xiaomi K20 Pro. That could be interesting. But yeah, that's it from me for now. My name's Andy. I'll catch you all again soon.